Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us. We are excited to welcome you as interested volunteers to our VITA volunteer kind of information session. So VITA is our volunteer and income tax assistance program that is sponsored by the IRS. And we are really excited to continue our partnership by being able to implement this program to our community and really help them be able to save their income from getting their taxes prepared for a fee and be able to come to us so that we are able to help them identify some tax credits, as well as save them that cost that would have normally been associated with getting filed at a paid place. So again, we're excited to have you and welcome you. And my name is Brittany Pelliswat. I am the Director of Economic Mobility Programs here at the United Way of Greater Stark County. Our programs are here to serve not only the residents of Stark County, but also Carroll County. And then we also have a collaboration with our United Way of Tuscarawas County as well. So if you are here and one of those lovely counties, we welcome you, and we are excited to introduce the VITA program to you and hopefully inspire you to decide to join our team to help those in our community this tax season. Before I start diving into details, I wanted to throw it over to our other panelist, Rachel Brown, for her to introduce yourself to you and hopefully get to know you guys a little bit better.
Yeah, hi everybody. So thank you for the introduction, Brittany. So yeah, my name is Rachel Brown. This is my first year managing the program. So super excited to dive in. Thank you to all of the returning volunteers and all the new faces this year. So I'll definitely be reaching out to all of you, individually to touch base, see what you're interested in. We always need greeters and preparers. Maybe you want to do a little bit of both. So thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Rachel. So as Rachel indicated, we are looking for volunteers, but we also wanted to just shout out our previous volunteers who may have been with us for the years behind. So again, thank you for whoever is joining us out there. Thank you so much for your service if you've been a volunteer, or thank you for joining us and learning more about the possibilities of becoming a volunteer. We have a tight-knit group of volunteers that help us every year. And we're excited to expand that and really find some focused areas of our volunteer options to kind of meet the needs of kind of our expanding, but not also kind of rapidly changing due to kind of the environment of COVID that we live in right now. So as we jump in, we are excited to talk a little bit again about our VITA program. So VITA, again, is our volunteer and income tax assistance program. It is a free alternative for our paid tax preparation. So saves individuals the cost from going to one of the local kind of pop-up tax locations that can sometimes cost a lot of money. We've had past clients where they're paying an upwards of $500 to $600 to have someone prepare their taxes. And obviously you can imagine how $500 or $600 really puts a dent in a lot of our community neighbors' budgets. And we really want to make sure that, we're helping them keep all the money here. If we can keep the money in the community, that's good for everything across that economic divide. The other awesome thing about our VITA program is that we follow our IRS guidelines. And so we are certified and trained volunteers through the IRS. And so we are able to really have a great capability to file, and we're responsible, and obviously we're trained. So that way we are sticking up to their code of ethics, as well as passing their guidelines to make sure that we're filing correctly and accurately as much as possible. So that is kind of a little bit about our VITA program. And why we do what we do is, like I had mentioned before, it's really important for us to offer this free service to our community members. For our kind of limitations here. In Stark County, we provide our service up to individuals who are singly filing up to $65,000 of their annual gross income. If it is joint file, the annual gross income is about $90,000. And so it is a very high level. So many people are able to use our service and they're probably not even aware that they can. But it is really there and really was created to help the individual who is in a lower income, more poverty level filing. That way we can help really explore their possibilities of their earned income tax credits. This year too, coming into the next tax season, really being able to help individuals explain and understand the child tax credit changes. That gives them that opportunity again to keep those working individuals with as much money stay in their pocket. And again, it is a free program, and we really are, our main goal is to help individuals keep away from filing at places that are going to extort them and maybe charge high amount of money at the end of the day. Sorry guys. And last year, this is just to give you kind of a breakdown of the last few years. Since 2013, we have been doing VITA. And so you can see how our gradual growth all the way up to this 2021. So our last tax season, we almost closely tripled the amount that we did our first year. And so you can imagine that with our growing numbers, if you look at our volunteers, we haven't, we had a little perk there in the middle of a kind of our timeline, but it definitely could use some work as we go into this year. Now, obviously last year, we are so thankful for all of our volunteers. We have college students, we have retired accountants, we have individuals who are still working, but they enjoy doing our services. And then we have longtime volunteers who just come back every year because they really enjoy it. The last 2 years, due to the pandemic, has really put a kind of a halt in some of our services in regards to our volunteer pool. Our college courses, a lot of them went remote, so they weren't doing in person. So we lost some volunteers that way. We lost some that, obviously and rightfully so, had concerns because of the pandemic. But we've always adapted, and we are so grateful for the volunteers that we have, because we wouldn't have been able to continue to grow our program without these volunteers. And you can see that by our services this past tax season, we were able to keep over $3.3 million in the hands of our community. And so that's through our refund amount. So that money that could have otherwise been outside or went through other tax services, we're able to stay in the hands of that taxpayer. So that's really amazing numbers, and the stats don't lie. So we're doing a really amazing job. And this year, we are looking forward to the next tax season. The last tax season, we were a drop-off program. And so what that meant is that our clients, we did not meet with any clients one-on-one and prepare their taxes. And we are going to keep to that this year. We were hopeful that moving into this next tax season, we may be able to adapt and go back into in-person. But unfortunately, with the rise of our numbers again with COVID, we have decided to stick with the drop-off for the safety of our volunteers. So what that means is that outside of our intake process, where the individuals do come in to fill out their kind of official paperwork and turn in all of their forms, that individual will after that be able to leave property, and then our preparers are able to file and have conversations with them via phone, and then once they're completed, the client will come back into the site and be able to pick up them. So that's how we will continue in our 21-22 tax season, and then hopefully, fingers crossed, that going into the tax season following, we will be able to go back to an in-person, because I know a lot of our volunteers did miss that one-on-one interaction with the clients. So if you are one of our new volunteers out there that are interested, one of our two main ways that you can volunteer with us is as greeters or intake individuals. So those are our individuals who get to meet the clients. They are set up at our site locations. We have about 10 to 15 different partner locations throughout, like I said, Stark, Carroll, and Tuscarawas County. Our greeters are able to will sit in kind of the lobby area, be able to help individuals navigate that initial form and be able to complete and answer some questions, and then make sure and ensure that all of the paperwork is collected and ready to be passed along to the preparer. Those greeters can, pick a location that's near home and just focus on serving at those site location spots, or they can jump around to a different locations if they're fun and they want to travel a little bit. We would welcome that as well. Ideally, we are looking to have 1 to 2 greeters stationed at every site location during our tax season. So that is one of our kind of our key and one of our big roles, and one of the kind of biggest needs that was expressed by kind of our site managers, the overseers of our clinics, was to get greeters and take individuals back out on the scene. So that is one of our kind of big pushes this tax season. Obviously, we always, though, need tax preparers. Our program is run and bred on our tax preparers. They have to be volunteer. Staff are not, due to the IRS guidelines, are not technically allowed to prepare. So all of those preparations that you saw on the last slide, those are done by our wonderful volunteers. So we're always looking for preparers. The nice thing about this tax season is that once you're comfortable and you've done a few on site, if you're a new volunteer, I should say, you can prepare at home. We have some protocols in place that will still guarantee the safety and confidentiality of our clients, but you're able to still kind of file remotely. So that's a little bit of a great option for those that may need a little bit more flexible scheduling, or would like to, do some filing and volunteer service after work or on weekends. That's a great option for them. Quality reviewers, that's kind of a step up from our tax preparers. A lot of our site managers provide that service, but it is something, an option. If you are an advanced preparer and you're really enjoying it, you're able to review your fellow preparers' tax returns to make sure that they're checked. And that's one of the things that we are really focusing on this tax season, is just really making sure that we are doing the best by the clients and making sure our information is correct and up to the guidelines and standards of our IRS ethics. So signing up. So as a VITA volunteer, we provide all of your training. This year it will be virtual again. It will be 2 Saturday trainings here in early January. I guess I should say mid-January. Those trainings will be able to be viewed on those Saturdays in live format on Zoom, or they will be recorded and available for a volunteer who was then able to make them to view at a later time. Once you have gone through those trainings, you are and also you're provided pretty substantial little workbook and test workbook. So you'll get those materials and you'll be able to have time to review. You can ask questions of our site managers, of our team. And then once you're ready, you can go on and take a self-paced testing series. There's a couple different tests. We have like a codes of ethics. The greeters and intakes have a kind of a standard test for themselves. And then our preparers have a testing avenue as well. Once those tests are completed, you'll be able to be certified as long as you've scored 80% or above. Oh, I'm going ahead. And you are able to take that test up to 2 times as well. So it's also an open book test. So that's a nice thing, that you don't have to memorize everything. You're able to utilize your open book test, your notes from the training, and there's no time limit. So you don't have to rush to complete it or try to answer the questions in a fast-paced manner. So that will be available for some of our returning volunteers. We're hopeful that here in early January, that first week of January, kind of right after the holidays, that the Link and Learn certification site should be up and accessible. So if you are a returning volunteer and you would prefer, you feel like you got it and you don't necessarily need to go through the training, that is something we can talk about. We're looking to offer just kind of a mini little session just to kind of update you on some of the changes for this 22 tax season, specifically surrounding that child tax credit, because we think that's going to be kind of a big thing with a lot of questions that are going to be coming out. So Look for that information to come out from Rachel to our returning volunteers on when Link and Learn is up and open for you to start testing. And then also that additional information about all of the different type of trainings options that will be available to not only our returning volunteers, but to our new volunteers as well. So we have the certifications. This is just a kind of a breakdown of all of the certifications that do come about. We use, so we have all of those different breakdowns. Obviously, you will not remember all of these. Even if you are a returning volunteer, you may not remember all of them. That is Rachel's kind of job to make sure that you have all of the certifications completed and filed as we kind of move forward. And she'll be tracking that and help following up with you. For those who are not aware, we do use the TaxSlayer software system, and that does have some additional training that is embedded in our training course, but then also too, you're able to use some kind of simulation type of training that allows you to self-guide and pace through that software to get familiar with it. So our clinic days. So we have clinic days at Walsh University. So this year, those students are going to actually be trained and be able to provide preparations on site in their computer lab. They won't be open to the public. So that's going to be a great option for us to kind of catch up in those kind of mid-season and make sure that we're staying ahead of the filings that are coming in. This year, we will have clinics at most of our standard locations. As you can see up there, we have Carroll Library, Massillon Rec, Ohio Means Jobs, just the Stark branch. We won't be there in the Tusk branch. We will be at Dover New Philly Credit Union for Tuscarawas County. Rodman Library out in Alliance. Our office is here in downtown Canton. And then we also will be at Stark Library. We have 4 different locations. We will be there. The Hartville, the Maine, the DeHoff, and one other one I can't remember off the top of my head, but we will be at some of the Stark County libraries as well. So like I said, we're at various locations, and our goal would be we pretty much have a clinic every day or doubled up every day, starting February 1st, and our last clinic being in that mid-April on April 15th. The tax season as of right now does conclude on April 17th. That's a Monday. That's after Easter. We will not have any clinics on that final day, the 17th. So that our last clinic will be on the 15th. So as of right now, that is our standard clinic timeline. Last 2 years, we have had extended seasons. So we will adapt and adjust if that does come up again. But I don't foresee us doing any larger clinics after April 15th. Obviously, I've introduced myself and Rachel has introduced herself. And then under her, we have our 3 returning site managers. Marianne, Barb, and Pam will be returning. If you were one of our volunteers in the previous years, you probably have interacted or met one of those wonderful ladies. So they will be our site managers. I will just let everybody know we are in the process of hiring a 4th site manager that will also be helping fill in on some of our clinics. Once we're able to hire that individual, we will make sure that everybody has that. Just as a heads up for some of our returning volunteers, we may have a little bit of a different structure than that you have been used to in the past. Our volunteers will be assigned to one of the site managers, and they will be kind of the person that they will go to with questions, scheduling. Also, if you are a preparer, your site manager will be the one who's kind of assigning your folders to you and your clients to you, just to kind of help us with our communication and our tracking. That was one of kind of the things that popped up last year when this drop-off haze that we were going. It gets a little crazy because it's all drop-off and we have a lot of comings and goings. And so this year, that's kind of our flow that we're going to be taking. Obviously, we're going to stay flexible as possible because I don't foresee this being a typical tax season as the last 2 years haven't. But we're really excited and we're really eager to kind of get our new outlook off the ground. So at this point, I do have Rachel's information up on the screen if you haven't received it yet, that you can reach out to her. For our returning volunteers, I do want to let you know that she will be reaching out to you hopefully within the next couple of weeks. Obviously, we'll probably be waiting until a little till after at holiday to let you all have time with your family and friends. But she will love to reach out, especially to our returning volunteers, to meet with you one-on-one, if that's through a phone conversation, Zoom, or even in person. We'd love to invite you here to the Economic Mobility Center here in downtown Canton, and get to know you a little bit better. So please look for that. And for those volunteers who maybe have joined us and we're looking to just kind of see what we're all about, we will reach out to you. We have your information. So we look forward to that reaching out too, so we can get to know you a little bit better and answer any more specific questions or give you a little bit more details about the program. But I will give opportunity for any of our attendees that are here today listening to ask any Q's and A's. You should have a little link on your screen that will allow you to hit in some questions if you have any. I'll give that a few seconds here to see if any of those roll in. Okay, Rachel, before we wrap up, do you have any final thoughts or words you'd like to share?
Thank you, everybody, again, for being here. Anyone that signed on a little late, I'm super excited to be here again. And thank you so much. You guys are really, the volunteers, you guys are everything to us, and what keeps the program going. So we appreciate it. Great way to serve the community. And if you know anybody, pass the message along. Feel free to give anyone my contact info. I'm happy to talk to anybody that you know that might be interested. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Rachel. And thank you for those who are attended this evening. We hope and wish you have a happy Friday night and a happy holidays if we do not connect before then. And as Rachel said, this video will be up on our social media. We will also send out a link via email. So feel free to pass this information along to any people in your life that you think would be a good fit to one of our positions, such as greeter or preparer. We would welcome them and love to talk with them. So have a great afternoon, and we will see you hopefully soon.
Thank you. Bye-bye, everyone.